So this is going to be a part 2. Does your hair type matters when choosing hair products? I'm just going to be doing a voiceover over my client here. We're going to be doing some 2-strand twists on her hair. So I'm just using her as a voiceover. Now, if you watch part 1, we talked about like how the hair typing system, and when I mean hair typing system, I'm talking about how some people be like, oh, am I 4C? Am I 3A? I really don't get into that, the semantics of the number system, because I just honestly believe like your hair is not a letter, it's not a number. I just don't believe in it. This is my theology as a licensed professional. Because I will say this client right here, as you've seen her before, if I had to put her in a number, I would say a 4C. Now, some people will argue with me and say, oh no, she is not a 4C hair. Her hair is too loose. No, this client of mine, she has been with me for years, and I would say her hair is very thick, it's very coarse, but also she takes a really, really good care of her hair, and it's a lot manageable. And I made a video that talked about how your hair is not nappy, it's just not moisturized. Your curls will pop, but it's just unhealthy. So when it comes to choosing products for your hair, I went through the live stream. If you missed part 1, go watch it. But I'm going to just do a brief overview. When it comes to, figuring out your hair type, quote unquote, I go by the depth method, which is the D is for density. Like, do you have low density or high density? And for example, this client, as you can see right here, she's high density hair, which means that she has a lot of strands coming out her scalp per square inch. Or you could be low density, which means that you don't have a lot of strands that come out your head, per square inch. So that's the D, density. You can be low density, medium density, or high density. And then we have the E, which is the elasticity. Now you're going to see, as I'm working through my client Christina's hair, I'm able to pull her hair and it still bounce back. Like, it has good elasticity. And that's a good thing, because, sometimes, people get caught up on shrinkage, and I get it. I get it. I know, you do your hair a certain way. You want it to really hang. And I can understand how frustrating it can be, because you're like, man, when it's wet, it just drops down so low. But as soon as it dry, it shrivels up. But I'm just here to tell you that is a sign that you have some good, healthy hair. So also, when it comes to choosing your products, you need to make sure that these products help with your elasticity. Like, if they kind of like wearing your hair out. Oh, before I go into this, I am applying my Honey Mimosa shampoo and conditioner, and it had been a year since I seen Christina, and I don't think she realized how long her hair was. So you're going to see me insert a clip here in just a minute, and I'm just showing her like, girl, do you see how long your hair is stretching out? Like, when I tell her hair grows so fast, like, she's the type of client, she take care of her hair. She do what I tell her to do, and her hair grows. So I'm just here to tell you that Black women, we can grow hair, okay? She is a Black woman, and she can grow hair, all right? And it doesn't even matter, like, if we cut it, it grows right back. And she is that client that she is all about healthy hair. And anytime I recommend, like, whatever needs to be trimmed, she says trim it. Now, about a year ago, probably, we cut her hair into a bob. Like, her hair was at her shoulders a year ago, okay? Last time I had seen her. Life got busy and I hadn't seen her in a while. So we was really just catching up and, just seeing where everything was up to. But here is the clip right about now, right here. I'm going to let you listen to it.
This hair.
No, that's not where it is.
Yes.
No, we're cutting it the next time. That's why I came to you. I'm like, I can't twist this mess no more. I'm tired.
I can see why his eyes tired. Because
yeah.
This hair is I think it's past your bra strap.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. No.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think I've had it this long. Ever? I don't know. It's been a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Long time. That's crazy.
Cause look at this
I
twist.
see.
It's pretty though.
Yeah.
It's pretty.
You gonna have to do it if we keep it this long. Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
I know when you took it out them buns, I was like, oh yeah. And it's been a whole year.
Yeah.
So as y'all can see, the excitement of both of us and just being shocked on how long her hair has gotten. And so getting back to what I was talking about, does hair products, does the hair typing system matter when it comes to as far as numbers? No, it doesn't. So last thing I was talking about was elasticity. Like, does this product allow your hair to bounce back into its original state? Now, there are some products out there that claims that less shrinkage and stuff like that. I don't think it's anything wrong with those products. I don't think the products are bad, but you just got to be careful with like how often you're using those products. There's other ways you can stretch your hair out to prevent as much shrinkage. But does the product help your hair with the elasticity, which is the ability to stretch your hair and pull it back? There are some edge controls and stuff out there which just say you can rub your finger across. You can put the edge control on and like you can rub it and it's just slick and it's just hard and your hair don't move and your edges are slayed all day. Now, is that a good product for you and your edges? I will only say that product will be good if you are getting married or you have a special event or like a photo shoot and you need it for just a special occasion. Now, will I use a product like that on my hair every day? No, I do not. Because that product is messing with your elasticity, which is the ability is you cannot pull that hair and it bounce back. Now, sometimes some people get upset because like, I put on the edge control, but it was back curly, later on that day. That's fine. It's doing what it's supposed to do. And your natural hair is doing what it's supposed to do. And I think a lot of times we'll stop being so frustrated with our hair if we just allow our natural hair just to do what God made for it to do and stop fighting with it. Now, I get it if you got special occasions and you want certain products to work a certain way, but we just have to be very careful and mindful when we are choosing products for our hair to make sure it's benefiting for the health of our hair. Now, all the products that I'm showing in this video, you can find on my website, lisasmiles.com. So now let's keep talking about this hair typing system and this, using the 4A, 4.3, 3B system. Do you need to know that when you buy hair products? And that's no. And I'm going to stand behind that 10 toes down. And I'm just going to let you know, if you didn't listen to part one, I was saying a lot of these companies, they market this stuff, it's a marketing thing just to get your money. Because they know, like, if you see, 4C, 3C, I should get that. And that's not always a rule of thumb, because there's so many values you have to think about. Okay, so we talked about the D, which is the density. We talk about E is your elasticity. So the P is for porosity. So that is the ability for your hair to retain water, or how your hair holds water. So most of the time, like if you're low porosity, that means that your hair cuticle is really tight. It's hard for water to actually get in and penetrate. If you are high porosity, you don't have a problem with, getting moisture in your hair. It's just, for it to stay and retain. So sometimes, like those who might have high porosity hair, you might want to look at more products that, like after you wash your hair and stuff, you might want to use like more thicker products like creams and stuff, so the moisture can actually stay in. With low porosity, it's kind of really hard to get that water in, because if you do the porosity test like I talked about in part one, you'll notice if you low porosity that your hair is going to float to the top. That means that hair cuticle is so tight, it's hard to get water in. That's why with low porosity, doing deep conditioners and steam, it opens up that hair cuticle, that tight hair cuticle, so we can actually get the moisture in. Versus with, high porosity, it's so easy to, get that water in the hair, but it's just the thing is, helping it stay in there. Because your hair porosity, your hair gonna sink to the bottom. So here is her ends before. Just showing y'all the before of her ends. Now, again, this client has been coming to me for years and she always trusts my judgment. Of course, I always do consultations, but like always, Christina is like, look, Lisa, do what you need to do, cut what you need to cut, because she already know her hair is going to grow back and she takes care of her hair. Now, since it had been a year, it was, quite a bit that need to come off. Now, you are going to see me attempt to start cutting her hair first with my shears, but then I just had to pull out my clippers. Like some of my clients who got like a lot of hair and a lot of thick hair that I got to cut through, I'm like, you know what? I'm about to pull out my barber clippers and then keep it moving. You'll see me do that. Now, when I bring out my barber clippers, I am going to do like a base cut, like a guide cut. A lot of people get caught up in like, oh, hairstylists, y'all don't cut the hair right. Y'all just cut around the perimeter and da da da. And y'all, that's not where the haircut in. Okay, that's not where the haircut in. I actually go in, as you gonna see later on this video, and I'm just gonna clean her cut up. So this what I'm doing right here. It's just to take off the bulk of the hair. Like it's nothing deep. Like it's just to cut off the bulk, just so I can get, the rest is done. So yeah, just keep watching. I just want to put it out there for, it's always going to be some bad different spirits in the comments talking about how I cut hair. Mind your business. Anyway, God bless you. So, all right. So porosity. So when it comes to porosity, you just see like, is this hair, does this product help retain the moisture in the hair? Is it keeping your hair moisturized? Is this product drying your hair out? So that's another thing. Now, typically with those with low porosity, like I said, you would need heat to, really open that hair up and get it moisturized, and then seal it with an oil. And then more than likely, if you are high porosity, it's better to seal your hair with like a cream. So now we're going to get into the T, which is your texture. So I talked about in part one was you can have fine strands, you can have thick strands, or medium strands. And my client right here, she has high density hair and she also has thick strands. And what I mean by thick strands is like if I were to pull one of her strands out, like it's thick. So you can think of like a fine strand, like a piece of paper. You can think of a medium strand, like a pencil, and then maybe a thick strand, like a marker, if I had to give an explanation. So with thicker strands, from my experience, especially when it comes to twisting hair, styling foams just work so much better with the thicker strands and also with the low porosity. So they help with drying the hair faster. It keeps it light and bouncy. And then I always go in like after I do my leave-in conditioner, and I do my styling product, and then I just seal it with a oil. This works the best. Now, sometimes for those who might have fine strands, and they're like, ooh, I want my twists to look a little bit thicker and they just need a little bit more help, I will use something that's, a little bit thicker, like a curl cream or maybe a hair milk or something, because when you have fine strands, more than likely the fine strands, you're missing the third layer of your hair shaft. So our hair shafts have 3 layers. And normally if your hair is on the finer side, it is missing that third layer, which I think is the medulla. I think that's what it's called. So that's why, like, some people with fine strands, depending on what style they're doing, they might want to use a cream or something a little bit thicker and richer. And they like to stay away from products like with a lot of alcohol in it. So just keep that in mind if you do have, fine strands when it comes to choosing your products. Now, you could be someone who have fine strands, but you have a lot of it. So again, you might be somebody that even though you have fine strands and you have a lot of it, you might find out, okay, I need more lighter weight products because I have a lot of hairs on my head, even though they are fine. And it could be vice versa. It could be like you got thick strands, but then you have low density hair. So sometimes those who have thick strands, but they still have low density, they might want to use thicker products because it'll just help with adding weight and making it appear like your hair is fuller. So I hope this explanation is kind of making sense and give you more clarity when it comes to choosing your products. And when it comes to this, it's kind of like trial and error. And when I say trial and error, you might notice that, okay, you might be like, this product didn't really keep my hair as moisturized as long. So maybe go to something, lightweight, or let me go to something more heavier. But you will really start to understand what products to choose for your hair when you understand the depth. And the T, because I'm spelling out the depth, which is DEPTH. So the H is your history. So what is the overall history of your hair? Did you color your hair? Did you do you have heat damage on your hair? Do you have like what's the history? And because sometimes, like, if you have like heat damaged hair, or you have colored hair, you might notice, because I noticed this when I had colored hair. I noticed like sometimes on the parts of my hair that was colored, it was high porosity. And then some of the parts of my hair that wasn't colored was low porosity. So sometimes with some of my styles, I would use a combination of products. I would use maybe, foam in some areas, then I would use a curl cream and something thicker in other areas, because I noticed that my high porosity hair needed a little bit more, moisture. It seemed like, well, not more moisture, it just needed something to hold it in, longer. And another way you can kind of tell if your hair is low porosity or high porosity, if you don't want to do the cup test, is when you get in the shower or when you bend over your sink to get your hair wet. If your hair gets wet instantly, like you can feel it instantly on your scalp, more than likely you kind of leaning more towards high porosity, versus if it takes a while for your whole head to get wet for you to feel it on your scalp, you probably leaning more towards, low porosity, because it's taking a while for that hair to really get down. Because remember, when you are low porosity, that hair cuticle is like really, really tight. Okay. So it just needs a little bit of help. So thinking about the history of your hair when it comes to choosing products. So if you have color in your hair, you might be, leaning, or, relaxed hair, you might be leaning more towards the high porosity. So sometimes, like, you might need some products, excuse me, y'all, that have, a little bit more weight to it and just a little bit thicker when it comes to sealing it, versus like if you low porosity, you might need lighter weight products. And and when I say lighter weight products, something where the molecules are small enough to get in between that tightly closed cuticle. So like light leave-in conditioners and oils, it's gonna really be good for those who have like low porosity hair. So because it's so tight, we need something small that can kind of get up under that. Now you will notice too, depending on the season, even if you are low porosity and you might be just using like a leave-in conditioner, a light leave-in and a light oil, sometimes you might in the wintertime might need something a little bit thicker to seal on top, because the air outside is colder and drier. So you might notice, depending on the seasons, your products might work different, okay? Because depending on what climate you is and how the climate changes, you'll notice like, okay, I notice in this season, I need to put a little bit more, thicker products on my ends, because I notice they drying out a little bit more. So I am using my Marie's Legacy Honey Styling Foam. I don't know why I said honey styling foam, but it's not honey styling foam. But I guess because I'm thinking about, I used to use the honey almond foam a lot, and I don't anymore by influence. This is my own styling foam that I have myself. So that's what I'm twisting her hair with. And you're going to see me finishing up. I am putting just a little bit of oil on her scalp, because I use the leave-in conditioner and I use the S3 spray to blow dry it out, because we did have to trim her hair. And so the oil is just a sealant, as y'all can see me oiling her scalp, just to lock everything in. So I hope this video, gave y'all some clarity on when it comes to, choosing products that's going to be right for your hair type. And just remember, like, don't get frustrated. Like, if you buy a product, like, stick it out for a little while to see how it goes. Like, hopefully y'all watch these videos in its entirety and you took some notes and you see, but don't just use a product one time like, oh nope, it don't work. Okay, especially if it's a quality hair product, and especially if you do is your research. And don't just get on the bandwagon and just start buying a whole lot of stuff just because you see an influencer buy it. Okay, and especially if y'all hair don't look the same. But now that you have more of a understanding, okay, what is my texture? Do I have thick strands or have thin strands? What is my density like? And then also taking into account what style are you getting ready to do, because you might be somebody and you have thick strands and you have thick hair and you're trying to do a twist out and you're doing it with a cream, which is really, really heavy. And you're like, why is it taking my hair forever to dry? Oh, I don't like this product. Well, it's not that the product is bad. You just chose the wrong product for what you was trying to do. Now, if you was putting on that curl cream and it's the winter time and you're not concerned about your hair drying overnight so you can take it out, then that product could be fine. But also, you have to be careful too if you got thick strands and thick hair with using a whole lot of thick products on your hair all the time, because that can cause buildup too. And sometimes the molecules on those products are, so big that they're not really getting where they need to get on your hair shaft, versus somebody who have finer strands might benefit a little bit more with using those thicker products. But even those with thin strands, you still have to be careful about like not overdoing it with the thicker products, because again, you don't want your hair, even though it's thin, you don't want it to look weighed down as well. Okay, so yeah, I hope that makes some sense. I am finishing up on my last twist with this client, and you're going to see how beautiful her twist came out. They look so juicy. This was her, I always ask my clients, like, you want a middle part or do you want a side part? And she was like, girl, let's do a bust down middle part. She said, I don't think we ever did a bust down middle part. So y'all see her. I'll put the clip in when I finish, and she was saying how she loved her hair. But I always enjoy catching up with my clients and just seeing what they're up to and just seeing what their hair is up to. And, overall, even though it had been a year since I seen this client, I mean, I still think she did pretty good with taking care of her hair over the year. Like I said, she followed the rules for the most part. But here's the clip.
Wow. Oh, I like the middle part.
Okay, but
Yeah, I'm not mad at it. Oh my god, it's so juicy with this ends too, girl.
yeah, the ends.
Yeah.
So yeah, as y'all can see and hear that she did love the bust down middle part. So now I'm just taking some more serum and some more oil, and I'm really rubbing it on the ends of her hair, since we did give her a nice trim. And I was telling her that her twist looks so juicy with, that trim. If you missed my video about on the benefits of getting your trim or haircut, go back and watch that. And this is just evidence to show that when you take care of your hair, your twist gonna look plump. They're gonna look juicy. Okay, we're gonna look moisturized. We're gonna like we got our life together. Okay, it's giving black girl, joy. It's giving my hair is healthy. It's giving my hair is juicy. It's giving all the things. Okay, but it just goes to show you, even though we did cut a bit, if you have healthy hair, no matter what style you get, it's going to look gorgeous. So here is some after photos of her juicy twist. Thank y'all so much for liking the video. Thank you for all the subscribers. And if you would like to become part of my membership, just to get more in-depth behind the scenes of my channel, get to know me more, get more hair tips, definitely consider joining the Smiles Tribe. And again, visit lisasmiles.com for all the products that I use. Here is my featured product, the Marie's Legacy Styling Foam. And I use the Honey Mimosa shampoo and conditioner on my client today too, to do her shampoo and her treatment services. Again, thank you so much for watching this video. Share it out if it helped you, and I will see y'all in the next one. Bye.